What's going on, beautiful people? Thank you for returning back to my channel, The Root Wave. In this episode, I have WIDAKAY. Please, sir, say hello and let us know where we can find you.
What's up, people? My name is WIDAKAY. Eric, spelled E-R-I-K, WIDAKAY, that's where it comes from. You can always find me on Instagram at I am WIDAKAY, IAMWIDAKAY. Also on the rest of your social media, just type in WIDAKAY, Facebook, Instagram is Twitter is also I am WIDAKAY. Same thing, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, you name it, I'm already there.
All right, so I'm definitely going to be putting all that contact information below so that you guys can definitely have it accessible. Now, Eric WIDAKAY, the reason I have you on my channel is I ran into your Instagram page and I noticed that you put up that you were half Ecuadorian and half Palestinian, correct?
Absolutely.
Right. So I thought that was fascinating because it's almost like, have you ever seen like an Asian person speak like full blown Spanish with the accent and everything?
Listen,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. So like sometimes when you see that, it's almost like it kind of hits you a little bit, and you kind of like, whoa, what was that?
Like, what?
Right. So
You're like, what's going on?
so I felt the same way when you were like, I'm Ecuadorian and Palestinian, and then you got like in your Instagram, you're showing off that you do follow the Muslim faith.
Yes.
I thought that was like amazing because it kind of was like, whoa, but at the same time, I think because of maybe my spiritual enlightenment, it's a beautiful thing because it's not easy not only mixing the two countries, right? So you're talking about Ecuador and Palestine, but then you're also talking about two religious upbringings. I would assume, right? We're going to get into that, but I would assume that there's going to be that conflict of these two countries actually being raised differently religiously. So,
Right.
tell me a little bit about where you're from. Tell me a little about what was home like with that difference going on. Go ahead, please.
No, no worries. So basically, we'll try to keep it as little as possible because there is a lot of detail. So growing up, again, for the viewers, my mother is Ecuadorian, fully raised, came here when she was about 16, 17 years old. My father around the same age. And, they met here in New Jersey. Long story short, fell in love, got married, and, they had me. They had their ups and downs. I think more ups than downs, according to how I see it. And what I really see in their core in regards for their relationship is that mutual respect, meaning there's a verse in the Quran that says, "Lakum dinukum waliya din." Let your religion be yours, let my religion be mine. So, me as a Muslim now, and having a lot of knowledge of both faiths now, I do understand that all Abrahamic faiths, and even outside the Abrahamic faiths, ethics and morality is all the same. It's just a matter of like how you really see God at the end of the day. Outside from that, looking into the family structure in my life, we're like between like liberals and conservatives. I'm Latino. Like we dance, we have salsa. There's liquor all around us. There's almost like a party always going on.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Arabs too. It's not like they never like party. They definitely like to go to their weddings and make sure that they're having their baklava and they're dancing their debka and all that stuff. So it's a matter of balancing really what we could call being too liberal and then being too extreme.
Right.
And I think the world is seeing a problem with that now. I myself really see myself as an equalizer of all that being said.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, like you were shocked to see like a person like me. I would be too, honestly. I mean, me growing up to find out my identities, it was tough. But because of education, history, even music, I was able to find that balance. And because, as you know, American hip hop accepts everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I always found that to be wonderful because people in the hip hop culture, they wanted to see somebody like me. Because a lot of people in the hip hop culture are Muslim.
Right.
They very much are so. They're black and very pro-black. And they instilled that, and they actually taught me a lot about my Muslim, my black, and my Latino roots all at the same time.
Right. So you brought up something. I want to bring up two things. One, I want to talk about the childhood, but I also want to bring up something that you said right now in regards to there being Muslims in hip hop, right?
Yes.
Also, I feel like I was born in Ecuador and I was brought here. I do feel like I have an open mind because I do come from somewhere that's not
Right.
here, right? But I
Hmm.
do have to say that there and here, I don't feel like, um, or better yet, the Muslim faith seems to be brushed under the rug. So it's almost like
Yeah.
they make it seem like it's not that big, but if you really think about it, that's like the largest religion in the world,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So why do you think that is that they do that here in this country?
So yeah, like going back to the first topic, like yeah, Muslims in hip hop. So the founders of hip hop, if you really study the whole history, uh, the Zulu Nation, right? And
Hmm.
if you hear any echoes, because in Jersey we talk in our cars when we want to have private conversations. Uh, we started off from there, and the reason being they were so influenced by that is because a lot of them came from five percenters.
Right.
I think it's called the Nation of Earth, Wind, and Fire to be technical about it. A lot of them coming off a fall off from the Nation of Islam, and a lot of them following now what is considered Sunni Islam, right? But they had a modern flip to it, meaning, yeah, we're Muslim, but we live in America, and a lot of times, media will never show you the truth of what's going on.
Hmm.
They use music so that way they can let you know, like, listen, you listen to your narrative, now listen to this one, and come to a balance. Um, moving and transitioning to the second point as to what you said, how we've put Islam under the rug, and that's the whole thing. Like we don't ever see like okay, the two narratives, right? Where is it that Islam came into the Americas? And this is where I get my huge history buff hat on. Okay, um, Muslims came to the America first, although it's a different topic, a different sort of story. If you think about Christopher Columbus as to how he got here, um, he did a lot of things and a lot of change to get to where Spanish culture is and American culture is. For example, a lot of things that you read, he used a lot of Arabic calligraphy. He used a lot of Arabic speakers while he was traveling. Um, More so, even with Christopher Columbus and then moving forward to the Spanish Inquisition, the first slaves that were brought to Hispaniola, they were from Morocco.
Mm.
That's how you really get that blend of, that saying of, well, you know, if you look like something, you might be it.
Right.
And Dominicans, you look at
Oh
them
my God.
today,
Yeah.
they're like, yo, like Omar, last name Medina. I'll even give you a hint in food. So there's something that they eat called kibe.
Uh huh.
That's kibbe.
Mm.
So we have that in the Arabic culture too.
Well,
I think it has. Yeah.
my fault. I just wanted to interject and say I heard that that's why they have those names the way they have them, like
Yeah.
Belkis and like stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Basically,
sorry.
if you look at the whole beginning, if I could tell your viewers something, look back, read a story, and go all the way back to what happened in the quote unquote Spanish Inquisition. And
Hmm.
I say quote unquote Spanish Inquisition because that's actually where you will hear negative things towards Spanish people for the first time, because it
Mm.
was an Inquisition, not a Spanish one.
Right.
Okay, um, this is where the war between ideology starts between Muslims and Christianity, and then if you want to talk about races, this is where you see white versus brown and black,
Right.
because most Muslims at the time were brown and black, and some white, and that's what you see today. So it moves on forward to our cultures today in Ecuador, Peru, Puerto Rico, Cuba, you name any country, even the United States, where we're having a conflict where who really dominates who in the sense of mindset,
Hmm.
ideology, and even, and it comes down to it, how we're going to make this money,
Right.
right? Do we have an interest flow? Do we don't?
Hmm.
Do we have more marginalized profiting? Do we just use straight up capitalization, socialism? Where do we go from here? And to have that in a introspective like what we're talking about today is beautiful, because now I see myself really as the middle ground to be like, look, I can bring you all this information to you,
Hmm.
and you have to be open minded because if you're not going to be able to have this discussion, right, you're never going to learn. You're
Right.
never going to really know yourself.
Right.
So that being said, I mean, if you want to go back to our previous, like, starting point, why they put it under the rug, fear,
Yeah.
fear of the unknown, fear of being wrong,
Right.
because um, no one wants to be told that. For, like, in my case, I was raised Catholic. I believe myself as a Catholic. No one wants to be told, especially in my life, that for 13 years you were believing something that maybe was a lie,
Hmm.
and now you have to regurgitate information for the next 13 years and then be okay at 27.
Mm.
So, but it's a thing of accepting human flaws, though, because not everybody's going to be able to be correct 100% of the time.
Right.
So,
But being
like,
but sorry,
yeah,
but being raised Catholic and Muslim, did you in society where we're almost trained to make that as a negative connection, right? So I want to know, and I want to ask you, what just briefly, what connection did you make, and what peace did you make between the two religions to actually be able to have them coincide? But then on top of that, what did you realize by being able participating in both religions, how much they had in common?
right. Well, to start off, like I say to everybody in the world, there is really just differences in how we view God and how we view your death and heaven and hell.
Mm-hmm.
Morality is all the same, and ethics is all the same.
Mm-hmm.
Killing is not right, terrorism is not right, lying is incorrect, and not following good ethics and structure should be inconceivable. But sadly, like some of our people in politics, I think we know who we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they tend not to follow that, and that's why there's a set structure in religion. So that way, they say, just because your leader's doing it doesn't mean that the true leaders that you're supposed to follow up to don't ever equate to them, because they're not the same. A lot of studying, definitely. I had an interesting version of it because for me, I was raised Catholic, went to a Catholic church, and then went to Sunday school for Muslim kids. So that way I debated with both imams and priests and monsignors all day long.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, imagine your little 10 to 13-year-old. Not only is he annoying, but he's asking questions that maybe will be more thought provoking to the whole class.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe perhaps you might get in trouble and get, called in by your mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start asking her, like, well, why is he asking why? And then she's like, why not?
Right.
So
Right.
it was a matter of just asking the question why. And to anybody who has that journey, or wants to even begin that journey, the intention starts here in the heart, right?
Right.
If you want to start, just start saying why.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter where you go, it's your journey.
That's
You
right.
can't ever follow my journey, it's yours.
That's great.
So the way I saw it was like, okay, our basis is Jesus. If Jesus were to come here today, he would have a lot of traditions that the Muslims will follow. He had a beard.
Mm-hmm.
He prayed 5 times a day, says in the Bible. And then more slowly, the development of the Trinity, he never really did it. I mean, he may have incapacitated, but mind you, this is a personal opinion of mine. And then also, like, would he teach personal responsibility, or would he teach that you need someone to be really like a guardian for your responsibility?
Right.
So that's where my limit was. And I said, at the end of the day, I have more acceptance with the teachings of Muhammad, peace be upon him. I know that if I walk into a church and said that, they'd be like, blasphemy.
Right. Right.
So I accepted the fact that, what? Yes, I accept the beliefs of Islam, and I will always consider and thank the Catholic Church and Catholics because they gave me a morality.
Mm-hmm.
They actually, I didn't have to learn much from the Muslims because the stories are similar.
Right.
The morality is similar. All I did was just change my monotheistic views. That's all it was. So it was good because then I was a bridge for a lot of people who wanted to know about Islam and a lot of Muslims who wanted to know about Christianity because they knew nothing of it. you
Right.
know,
Right.
and that's the beauty of it. Like that truth is always a pillar, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be there forever. You
Right.
have to look at different paths,
Right.
and
Right.
that's the beauty of life.
Right. Let me ask you something. Something I'm curious about that just came up to me. I was raised Catholic.
Hmm.
I did all the work that you have to do. I was even an altar boy for a while, which was actually okay.
Me too, bro.
Yeah.
So I know the struggle.
So I remember what church was like then. I can't say that I go much now because I don't want to say that I'm Catholic anymore. I'm going through a spiritual journey that's just incredible for me.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
it's amazing, and it doesn't involve the church necessarily, right? So
Right.
I feel like in general, the Catholic, and I might be wrong, the Catholic religion has lost a lot of its followers. Like it almost seems like I remember there was a point I don't know 2 3 years ago talking about churches closing because they weren't getting anyone in them.
Right.
So is the Muslim faith going through the same thing?
Actually, it's the complete opposite. We're getting a lot more members, and if you look into a lot of studies, which a lot of Republicans and a lot of conservatives are using these fearful, like bashful commentary. They're scared that we're maintaining a lot of real estate and that we're maintaining a lot of the believers. Um, More so because they believe that we're radicalizing them. On our side, it's just more or less of like, again, going back to the subject of always asking why. Like, we're not really afraid to venture off to say, well, if there is a God, who created God, right?
Hmm.
We can ask those questions. It's not a problem. Or, is the Big Bang Theory real? Were there dinosaurs before us? I mean, like we have those questions, and we don't bash people for it. It's a rather thing of like, okay, if you have those questions, let's look into it, and if we don't know, let's find a way to find out, right? Um, I hear what you're saying when it comes to like even the church, and it's sad too. Like me as a Muslim, like I like seeing people maintaining their traditions and values.
Hmm.
And here and there, I'll be honest with you, I will go back in church with family and sit down and listen
Hmm.
to what I was supposed to catch on as a kid. Um, do I think that the priests may have a little sense of not transitioning their teachings to modern day? They're having a little trouble with that.
Hmm.
I think also like although they're educated, they may not find a way to actually understand too much of the metaphors that Jesus was talking about,
Hmm.
right? One of the biggest ones that I know for a fact is very deep is the Sermon of the Mount. You can look right back into it and then really debate. And I tell Muslims this all the time: read the Sermon of the Mount and tell me, how does this not sound like Islam?
Hmm.
Read the Our Father. How does that not sound like Islam?
Hmm.
That's exactly what we follow. So when you look at it as a deep core of like, how can you resemble Christianity to not only Islam but Buddhism and maybe Confucianism or whatever? I mean, it's a deep understanding of just to know that there is something way better than you,
Right.
right?
Right.
And knowing that, I think to maybe top it off and viewing aside to like what's going on in our political environment, bro. Um, I think we don't have a community anymore. I think that really this isolation thing is like, look, I'm having an interview with my car.
Hmm.
Do you think that's normal? That's
Right.
not normal.
Right.
And this should be something where, yes, it's a tool that we're be able to talk through Skype or whatever app that you want to use. But at the end of the day, we need to have some type of social interaction.
Right.
The more we have that, the more peace that you can see.
Right.
And the less we have that, well, be ready for World War III. I'll tell you
Right.
that.
Right. Well, you brought up something that I didn't know. You said that in the Muslim faith they ask why, right? So
Yes.
they're actually asking, unlike the Catholic religion, which is like, no, this is the way it is. We try not to bring up anything else, right?
Right.
Let me ask you just out of the left field question.
Go ahead.
If an alien came from the sky tomorrow, I feel like the
Hmm.
Catholic religion would crumble because they wouldn't know how to handle it. That's just my personal kind of take on it, right? Just based
Right.
on what I've seen, just as an altar boy, everything that I've learned, and then also seeing how not flexible they are. Would that be the same for like the Muslim faith if like an alien came out of the sky? Would they
For
crumble, or would they be like, let's incorporate this into what we need to incorporate it to?
to be honest, there definitely is going to be like people who like won't be able to handle the truth,
Hmm.
because at the end of the day, no matter no matter what faith you try to preach, right? When it comes down to actually realize the truth, you really do see the true colors of a believer and a hypocrite.
Hmm.
And I've dealt with that personally in my life, right? Knowing the fact that okay, there's another creation. We already believe there's already other creations like angels, there's devils, right? We refer to that as jinn. What a jinn is really, if you think about, well, there's an upcoming Aladdin movie, right? It's going to show you a genie,
Hmm.
and the genie comes out of a lamp. What's interesting enough is that like the lamp, the way they lit it up back then is that there's essential oils in it. When you light up the ends, the tip, it goes into flames. So we believe that angels are not devils. Rather, the devils are a whole different creation. If aliens were to come down and just say, "Hey, we're here," it's a simple question of like, "Okay, so what's your story? Where are you from? What do you believe in?" If it comes down to it, where like there's a debate saying like we have a different religion, we have a different belief. Are there sources that show us that there could be different dimensions and a different self of myself and a different self of yourself?
Hmm.
Yeah, like even in the beginning of the Quran, it says, "Lord of the worlds." How many worlds are there?
Right.
There's there's plenty, and even in our own retrospect, we have an animal world too. There's a lot of people who say, "Hey, animals don't make it to heaven." Well, I mean, someone's gonna have to come up with the real reason. Okay, so a deer just got smacked up by a lion. You think that deer's not gonna come up to God and say, "Hey, he did injustice to me. He took away my life."
Mm.
That it's that deep. Like you really had to go down to it and really say, "Hey, why can you not ask why?
Hmm.
Are you scared that you might lose your power? Are you scared that I might leave? Are you scared that I'll be inquisitive to another religion?" I don't fear that, because at the end of the day, if let's say I get another truth, then it's truth. God is only true. God can never be false. And you have to question everything in this life.
Right.
If you never question anything about your own life, then you start becoming just like another sheep. You don't want to be a sheep. You want to be a leader.
Right. Right. Now, I don't even know where to go with this, but I think I
This is
think
probably the most interesting interview you probably had so far.
I guess the last question that I want to ask you is in regards to music and hip hop. Um, who are some of the people that influence you in music that are from Muslim faith, and do you see an increase in, which I know you touched before, but do you really see an increase in from the Muslim faith in hip hop?
Um, Influences definitely. It started off with Lupe, and then from there he kind of transitioned me to Tribe Called Quest, the oldies.
Hmm.
Then from there, you're talking about people who, didn't get too much spotlight, like Freeway, right? There's Tone Trump, I think that he goes by. A lot of people from Philly are pretty much into it. When it comes to people of Muslim faith coming into hip hop, um, they're going to be strong characters. The reason why I say so is because hip hop right now is having a transition, really, that it doesn't really sound like hip hop. When the viewers check it out, when you check out my music, you're gonna wonder like, how the heck does this guy get away with being Muslim and he's saying all this crazy stuff? And the reason why I do that is because I'm trying to attract you, because this is what you're listening to right now. What's different about it is that the lyrics, if you look deep down to it, are very different. Like I'm not saying go tat up your face. I'm not saying go take drugs to metamorphosize your mind, and then next thing you know you got depression. No, I'm not doing that for you.
Hmm.
What I am saying though is that there are kids just like me and other people in Latin America, Middle East that look, we have frustrations. We have a truth that everyone is dealing with. And my topics range from not liking somebody all the way down to, I fell in love for the wrong reasons, or I hate Trump, or maybe I just want to make you seem like that you're attracted to me when all I'm trying to do is like win you away. It's so many complicated things, and that's the beauty of really being a human being. That you're not perfect, and you shouldn't justify to be perfect. You should just be the way you are.
Right.
And I think that's really the message that I want to bring is that you shouldn't judge nobody. Judge yourself. Be the best person you can be. If you have flaws, don't worry. Nobody's perfect, and we're all here as a family just to show love.
Yeah, no doubt. WIDAKAY, I really appreciate you being on the channel. This was very interesting. Maybe we'll do like a follow up. I'm sure I'll have more questions
Absolutely.
for you. But give us some of your information, where we can find you, where we can find your music, please. And then if you could just send us off with a quick, just something inspirational, motivational for the people that are watching, please.
Absolutely. So, like I said, on Instagram, you can find me at I am with a K, IAMWIDAKAY. Also on Twitter, it's the same name, I am with a K. If you look up the fan page on Facebook, which sadly I don't use as much, but you can still add it. It's with a K. You can look that up. And also on any streaming platforms, Spotify, iTunes, and also others that I'm not aware of, but it should be there. Something to leave you off with, viewers, is that at the end of the day, always start off with a good intention. Actions, they speak louder than words, but your heart speaks louder. Um, you could start off even going to sleep, and what I've been doing this for actually for shits and giggles. I've had a hard time forgiving people. Okay, so what I've been doing is just like, listen, just for the record, before I go to sleep, I'm gonna forgive whoever wronged me and just go to sleep.
Hmm.
And it starts off just like that. If you want to do something in life, whether it's music, whether it's exercise, whether it's going back to school, being in school, graduating, start off with the intention of just saying to yourself, you know what, I want to do this, and I'm gonna try, and move along with that. And I'm telling you, the world, God, the universe, whatever you may want to believe, will help you. And always know that don't be scared to reach out, especially to me. If you want to reach out to me, I'll be your coach 100%. I won't even charge you.
Yeah, man. All right, WIDAKAY, I really appreciate you being on the channel. It was very entertaining. I really appreciate you answering the questions that I asked you. For my audience, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. It's important. Awareness is very key nowadays, right? You would agree?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
WIDAKAY, thank you so much again. May everything work out for you. May the rest of the year be awesome, and then the new year be even better. For my
God bless.
audience, yeah, man, thank you, appreciate it. And for my audience, I guess I'll catch you around in the next episode. Peace.
Be hotter than the flu. Sneaking texts around like who, pressing who. Guess like a pup, give the murder has the clue. Can't stop now, see my name on the blimp. Guaranteed a million sales, you call a level up. Don't